Oh no, Canada. I'm as always Raphael, and today I want to talk briefly about why I think that 2026 and maybe also 2027 is maybe not the best year to make your move to Canada as a software engineer. Why am I talking about this? So we actually spent a couple of months in Montreal, beautiful Montreal, as a family, as a nomad family. So we didn't have a local job, but I talked to the locals, of course. I researched the topic and I actually saw firsthand what it is to basically live in Canada for a short while and sort of dive into everything. The thing with Canada right now from a software engineering perspective is you have a couple of factors that are just not in your favor. Number one is the salaries. If you compare the salaries in major Canadian cities, be it more on the East Coast, Montreal, Toronto, to the West Coast like Vancouver. If you compare that to other countries like the US or even European countries like Switzerland, then the salaries are actually not that high for software engineers. They're still like, if you compare it to less expensive countries, still high, obviously, but overall you can get higher salaries in other countries. But the cost of living, I would say, is really, really high, actually. Like I had the impression that some things in Montreal, even like if you go to a restaurant, it's almost the same prices as Zurich, or at least the same prices as other really expensive European cities. For sort of the price value ratio, not the best right now. Really was often wondering, like, how can local people actually afford this? How can, especially, not software engineers, but how can people with a lower salary, how can they even afford this? I think you can get a much better deal in other places this year, next year, maybe next 2, 3 years. And sort of the second reason that it ties into the first one is that Canada has a real housing bubble, meaning that basically housing prices are massively inflated and at some point they will correct. And this is not only relevant if you buy a house and then you have to pay a mortgage, but it's also relevant, of course, for rent, because rent prices are connected to the value of a flat, a house. So I think in a couple of years, there will hopefully be a correction. Real estate owners will, of course, not like this, but everyone else will like it. I think there will be a correction because right now the prices are just inflated. There's never been a correction in recent times. And then it will become more affordable again to live in the major cities, even if maybe the salaries don't increase that much in the same time, simply because the delta of net salary and then rent and mandatory expenses will be more in your favor. Taxes are relatively high in pretty much everywhere in Canada. Like if you compare this to certain European countries, definitely Eastern European countries, definitely Switzerland, then I'm really wondering, like, why are the taxes so high? Because to be honest, the infrastructure, it's okay. It's not bad. That would be unfair to say, but it's also not world-class infrastructure. Like you will get better infrastructure in some countries in Europe or in Asia at lower tax rates. So again, the government consumes a lot of money, and the deal in the end that you get, it's not that good. So you just can get something better in different countries. So this is a consideration, and I think this can improve. I don't think it will be like this forever. I'm not sure if this is something where the government needs to change or so. I'm not that much into Canadian politics. I hope that in 5 to 10 years this will be better in Canada and more in your favor than it is right now. Basically, that taxes will be a bit lower because right now they're really high, and at the same time infrastructure can improve. And that's sort of my final argument. Canada is a G7 country, so you come there as a visitor, you come there with very high expectations. You think this is like a top-notch country, and in certain ways it certainly is, right? Trains, you can forget about it in Canada, which is okay. It just doesn't seem to be a thing. But also everything else is a bit underwhelming. Like if you look at healthcare, it's the prices, they seem to be similar or even higher than in Switzerland, which is like the most expensive country in Europe. But the quality isn't quite the same. I mean, people are nice, they're trying their best and everything, but still the system seems overwhelmed. And I'm actually wondering, like, where is that money actually going? Like if you charge so much money, either through taxes or through the bills, if you're not a local resident. Like, what do you actually do with that money? Like are your doctors earning the same as people in Zurich, or are you, I don't know, is it inefficiency? It's very hard for me to say, but I feel like there's, again, the price value ratio, it's not super good. You can get a better deal at lower taxes in different countries right now. Again, I think it's going to change in a couple of years, or I very much hope so. But this all, I would say, it sort of ties into Canada is maybe not the best country to move to as a software engineer right now. Right now, I think there are simply better alternatives. If you want to know more about this, let us know, please, in the comments. Maybe I will make a follow-up video. I definitely know a lot about childbirth in Canada now as well, so feel free to ask that as well. And then, yeah, if you like it, please click the like button so I know what to focus on in the next video, and then see you in the next one.